I used to be doffing the cops off on the mules in just my shirt and my bare feet, no overalls on. The floor was very greasy and oily. The oil off the spindle when you used to fly about and
they used to paste them.
Onto the
paste. You have a brush with paste on it, they'd run along it and it'd be all over the floor.
I used to go home at night with 6 and 7 spells in my feet. I didn't know I got them in during the day until I got home at night. Then I used to have to pulling them out, you know. Yeah. It's very hard on the mules, it was.
Mules, spinning mules are going in and out, and they had to go under and bring it all out. You know, when that you went in with it and come back with it.
Yeah, both arms out like that and just went in and then to dive out quick.
Yeah.
You know, spinning jennies, you've heard at spinning jennies, they went in and out like that. My dad was a lad, and the lads, they used to clean when it was stopped out, you know, the jenny was out. And when they'd got to the other end, they used to stand with their hands up. And the minder knew then it was clear, and he set it on. And my dad's minder thought he'd come out and stood up, and it was the lad next to him. And the jenny came back on him, and he took the force of it on his shoulders.
Yeah, it was dangerous,
both his shoulders.
Yeah.
Accidents and fires were a regular occurrence. Dunlop Mill suffered a major fire in February 1960.
We used to get fires in the doubling room, and all the fluff would gather under the machine, and sometimes the piece would switch the machine on, the frame on, and shush, the fire would go along. So everybody would be scurrying about getting the fire extinguishers, and the jobbers would be there trying to put the fire out, and then the fire engines would come. But where were the teams? In the toilets having a smoke.
We had a fire once, and all the fluff went off. Right from one end of the room to the other, and I went and stopped the, you know, the fire thing, and the boss was in the lift. I didn't have to get shouted at because he got stuck, he couldn't get up to our room. But I didn't realise all I thought about was breaking that, like, you know, it stopped the lift.
And once a fire started, it used to go like that because of the oil and all the cotton, you know, fluff. But they had such a good organisation of firefighters, the spinners. They'd practice every so often how to cope with this. But they used to really contain it, and usually to just one side of a mule or a pair of mules.
The frames were run with a strap over a big wheel.
Great big wide,
you know,
strap.
And every so often they'd snap. Well, you can imagine it was leather about that wide.
Yeah. Down they'd come,
To go anywhere.
We used to creel under them, the tenfold, you'd be under this strap. And my father worked in the doubling room as a jobber, and he had a little sewing machine, and he used to sew this leather. He used to come and sew these straps together, you know, and it was like a sewing machine. Yeah, piece them together again, yeah.
Oh, it used to fly anywhere when it snapped, didn't it?
Yeah.
There was a big shaft went right through the room. With all these frames on it, you know, they had big belts.
The mules used to run off.
This guy, that's why the belt would come off and it'd go. You'd go on some rates or not, you know, and he'd fling it on, you know. And the guy at Dale, he went round it, got his cart and he went round with his shaft.
Yeah.
Dangerous places.
Well, it was a bad affair, really. There was a young boy, 15 years old, and he was working next to me. And this was in the card room at the time. And he came up to me and he said, "Look what I've done." So he lifted his shoulder up and his arm pulled it right out of the socket. And I went back to have a look, and it was hanging just by the fingertips in one of the wheels. and they'd left it hanging there. When he came to me and said, look what I've done, I just sat him down on one of the skips, you know. I said, you stay there. There were no blood or anything. It had come right out of the socket. And I went through one room. I couldn't find a man, a jobber or anything. So I went the other way down the steps. And as I was going down the steps, the carder, one of the main men in the white overalls, he says, where are you going? So I couldn't say anything for a minute, so he got his hand on my shoulder and sat me down on the stairs, on the stone steps. Said, what's the matter? So I told him, and then as I said it, was I imagining it? I couldn't believe I'd seen that, you know, and I said, there's been an accident. Where? So he left me there and went running up the rest of the stairs to find out what was wrong. And after that day, well, I couldn't work any longer.
We always had to wear turbans, and the reason why, you would have got your hair fast, because you have to have ropes to keep the machines going. Now if you had to go there, I mean I used to be on the ball watching it, because it could have took your head off, you know, a bit of hair.
I had my hair very long because it was natural, but I always pinned it up for work. And this night I don't know what happened. I thought, oh, it's getting near time to finish now, but take my hair down and comb it, so I did do. And I bent down to press the button to put my machine off, but my hair got caught in bones. So I had to be took to hospital and they cut all my hair, and I was in one heck of a mess. But I still went back after.
Following the First World War, Britain's share of the cotton industry's markets fell, as other countries, particularly India, built up their own industrial capacity. Still, there was a wave of buying and selling of mills, as the mills were inundated with orders for cloth and prices were high. Unfortunately, there was little will to re-equip the mills with more modern machinery, and this, combined with increasing foreign competition, was an increasing problem. Following World War II, the industry fell more and more into decline, despite the switch to polyester yarns and mixtures. Today, the cotton industry is virtually non-existent, and many of the old mills have been demolished or developed into apartments or other businesses.
But when we all started, you had a choice. They put me in the warehouse and I didn't like it. Then they put me in the winding room, I didn't like it. And then in the weaving shed, and I was there 45 years. And when it closed down, I went home and I were in tears. My husband thought somebody had died. And it were heartbreaking, weren't it, when it shut down, because it were full of orders and everything, weren't it?
When the mills, like Kurt Lynn said, were closing down, there were a firm in Rochdale, Fetney Brothers they were called.
Oh, I know Fetney's, yeah.
And they got the contract to strip all the machinery out of these mills, clean them, wrap them up with grease paper, and box them up. And they went to Salford Docks. And the firm I worked for, he got the contract to move it from Rochdale to Salford Dock. And I was taking all this machinery to go abroad. You see, I've been worked in it, you know, years before. And I thought then, you know, a bit sad, but then again, I once liked our kiddies to do anything else. Not like we did, you know. We enjoyed it, we had to enjoy it, we'll put it that way. But
you had to enjoy it, whether you liked it or not. If your mother said you're going, you went.
Yeah.